This is a Next Wednesday media production.
What's up, y'all? Welcome back to GGTV. Okay, so this is going to be more so of an update type video on what's been going on. I am now on season 5 of this motherfucker. So, I'm going to just kind of fill you guys in on the things that's like happening from I guess like the last video, because who I do that on? Donna and David. So, but I'm going to start this one off with Andrea, because if you've seen like the first couple of seasons or whatever, we all know that she was a square. Okay, she was a square. You know, she was a virgin. She wasn't out there like that. She wasn't doing too much. She kissed a couple of dudes, but that was pretty much it. Like, she had like a little thing with Brandon. I think like in the first 2 seasons or whatever, they had like a thing, but then just decided basically not to go there. There was an episode where like her and Steve kissed. I think that was like in the first season too. Her and Steve, you know, they kissed or whatever. And, you know, he was pretty much always there for her. They never dated or nothing like that. Who else? She also, okay, so she gets to college or whatever, and she ends up meeting like the dorm advisor of her dorm or whatever was a guy, because back then shit was co-ed, I guess. Well, I mean, it's co-ed. It's still co-ed, but you know how some schools will do like, they would have like boys on one floor, girls on the other. I think the hallways were mixed back then, or that's how they made it seem in the show. So anyways, the dorm advisor is also like a teacher, if I'm not mistaken. So anyways, they end up hooking up. She loses her V card and stuff, and then shit just went south with them like after that. And then she starts dating this guy who bartends for like parties, and I may have tuned out in the episode. I guess that's who the baby daddy is, because at first oop. Well, okay, let me backtrack. Okay, bartender guy, he is actually like, I don't know, an attorney or some shit. I can't remember. He can work at the courthouse. He can do some shit like that. And so then I guess her and him, she breaks up with the dorm guy, starts to date this new guy. You know, they ain't really focus on her love life too much, but then next thing you know, she starts, you know, morning sickness basically, and all of that. Goes to the doctor to see what's wrong, finds out she's pregnant. She ends up like telling the bartender. At first she didn't want to keep the baby, but she ends up keeping her. She was a preemie. Her and the bartender guy, like, they get married. So basically, like, I was just really like, damn, like, she couldn't have had like a actual like fling with somebody from like high school before they just immersed her into like motherhood and shit like that. Like, I feel like she didn't even get to have fun, because mind you, they're like 18, 19 at this point. You know, it's like their first year of college. So, I mean, I get shit happens at the ages that it does. But as far as like her character, I was really hoping that she would have had more fun. And given that like she's like the oldest cast member, literally, like, for them to do that, it was just like, that's how I feel about it. But that's pretty much what happened with Zuckerman. Okay, y'all, now let's get into this happy couple. So with Donna and David, I do not remember where I left off in the last video. But what happens with them is basically they end up breaking up. David actually cheated on Donna. Okay, so and remember in the last video, I said, first of all, they both the youngest and stuff like that. And so they were pretty much the only ones out of their friend group who, hadn't done the wild thing. So, first of all, David, like, he starts doing meth to stay up when, working at the, the radio station and stuff. So then, as he's like in his recovery or whatever, what did he do? I forgot. Like, he started working with like music people or whatever, and there was this PR chick around the same age as him that was like flirting with him and stuff like that. And so they had what happened? There was like, they had like this Mardi Gras thing going on, like a Mardi Gras carnival. And he was like Babyface's keyboard player for the set. And something happens. They want to celebrate. He ends up getting missing with the PR chick. Donna's running around like looking for him. Now, mind you, Donna already had her suspicions about like the girl and him, messing around or whatever. So then they were like, well, they could only be in like two places. They're either gonna be like at the limo, in the limo area, or I forgot the other place. Long story short, Donna goes up to the limo. Him and the girl are in there doing the wild thing, the PR chick, and basically she caught him. So they break up or whatever, and she had asked him, like, basically, were you a virgin like before that night? And he was like, he just gave her a look like he had been fucking the girl or whatever, which he was. He was like, no, but it was only her. So then that pissed Donna off even more. And so basically for the first couple of episodes of the 5th season, she was trying to avoid him. But now she's dating somebody else. They done introduced some new characters and shit. David is currently dating somebody else. And in fact, the girlfriend or the girl that David is dating, because Donna kicked him out of the apartment. So he's not sleeping on campus, but he's living on campus. And they rent the room to this chick who had been harassing Brandon since like last season. And I think her name is Claire. But anyways, her and David end up like linking up and, dating or whatever. And now she's living in his old room at the apartment. Her connection to the crew is, like I said, well, I'll get in that when I start doing like the other love updates. So that's it with Donna and David. They're pretty much like just trying to be like friends at this point. And yeah, so I'll keep y'all updated on that little love thing. Okay, so now on to the happy couple that was once a little love triangle, but is no longer, but ends up being a little awkward love triangle. Okay, so we about to get into Kelly and Dylan. With these two, they pretty much started like bumping heads a lot. And so, dang, it's a lot. So basically they start bumping heads. Long story short, they end up breaking up, okay? But right before they broke up, right? Kelly went with Brandon to like this retreat. He asked Dylan if he could take her on this retreat so that basically he could be her be his fill-in girlfriend at the function, because he was actually having an affair with a staff member, and this guy was like working on this like expose on him, and he was like trying to find dirt, trying to figure out like who he was messing with and stuff like that. So basically Kelly was like the decoy. If you guys have seen the first season, when they first like moved to California, in the beginning, Kelly did have a crush on Brandon. She did hit on him, but he basically told her that like, I look at you as a sister. So then whatever, they go on the retreat, they're having a good time. They have this whole thing with like Brandon doesn't dance or whatever. But like he dances. He always says that he doesn't dance, but always ends up out on the dance floor dancing or whatever. So at the retreat, they were square dancing, it was like fun, and then they have a moment where they kiss. And so they were like basically like, just caught up in the moment type shit. Then it gets to the point to where I can't remember if they were going to tell Dylan or not, but this is a little sidebar because Brandon and Dylan low-key start like beefing, and it's not even beef, it was just like more so getting annoyed with each other, because Dylan, he's like a trust fund kid. His dad passed away, so he has like all this money. So he like, Nat had a heart attack at the Peach Pit, and Dylan bought out his partner. So now like Dylan and Nat are partners, and then Brandon felt some type of way because he was like, basically like he felt left out. He started to feel like a stranger. He felt like Dylan and his money were pretty much bombarding everything that he used to. And Dylan was just trying to help. That wasn't Dylan's angle, but that's like low-key how Brandon took it. So like they pretty much do have a little tiff. So when Kelly and Dylan break up, first thing Kelly does is run off to Washington, because that's where Brandon was, and she just wanted to like spend time with him. Now mind you, like being young and stuff, because literally it just looks like they jump from relationship to relationship. Like they get out of one and then they're in the other. They're in another one just like that. At least like with Kelly, for what I've seen so far. And Brenda. But yeah, so she says like her and Dylan broke up, and the only thing she wanted to do was come and like, spend time with Brandon. So I think that's pretty much how the fourth season ends, because when the fifth season comes in, they're together. Like they're a couple. It's happening. They spent the whole summer together, kind of like how her and Dylan did. But at least her and Dylan were broke up. And they decide, because they're like, dang, like everybody's coming back in town. We need to figure out, because only Brandon's parents knew about them, and it was somebody else that knew, Donna, I think. And so that was that. And then Dylan finds out through Nat that they're dating. And like a typical ex, like he flipped his lid, but I think like he's cool with it now. All right, so sorry, y'all, I'm out of breath. Okay, the update on Mr. Dylan McKay is not too much. He actually Loki got robbed, he got set up, he got scammed. Okay, so halfway through season 4 or whatever, there was this lady that comes into his life basically saying that she was the mother of like his long lost sister and all of this stuff, right? So he basically puts them up, starts taking care of them. He gets her a job at the Peach Pit and all of this stuff, right? So then she ends up, well, since it was pre-planned, okay? Shit was pre-planned. So what'd she do? She meets this guy. He basically the information she was feeding the guy was like stuff about like water, and he basically was saying how he does like this bioengineering where like something like where you drink something, because something about like the microorganisms in the water when the tides come in, and then you can't surf, so like you drink this stuff or you take this stuff, and then like you won't get like infected by the water type shit. So Dylan's like, oh, like, I'm fully invested in this. So I guess like in order for them to proceed with the investment, like they had to he had to do something to where, well, first of all, okay, Jim Walsh was his account, like his finance manager. So he, like, anytime, he would want to, purchase, like do a big purchase, invest in something, he would basically consult in Jim to, for advice and all of that, right? But they end up like falling out. So Jim was like, well, you're fired as a client, which, now Dylan had to move his money from whatever bank Jim had it in to another one, in which he had the boyfriend of what was her name, like Sandy or some shit, I can't remember, but the boyfriend of his sister's mom with him. They go to the bank. He transfer all that money into the bank account or whatever. I can't remember if it was like a joint, like a business or something like that. But long story short, Dylan leaves the bank. The dude acts like he's getting in his car. Then he withdraws all the money that was just transferred in there. And they basically get the fuck out of town ASAP. So when when season 5, comes in, because mind you, Dylan had a drinking problem. So he reverted back to drinking, big booze head, and depressed and gloomy and shit like that. And that's pretty much what's up with him. Like, there's this, he's currently having a fling with this chick who is sleeping in Brenda's room. I'm going to get to Brenda and what happens to her and why the chick is sleeping in her room. But he's currently having a fling with her. And I think I don't know what her angle is, but it'll prevail soon. But yeah, that's the update on Dylan. Now, I had to save the best for last. What happened to Miss Brenda Walsh? So, if you guys know, if you've been watching, they wrote Brenda off the show, season 4. So basically what happens with her, like, I swear it felt like not even every other episode, but like every, couple of episodes, anytime she got a moment alone with Dylan, she was like professing her love to him, saying how she never got over him and shit like that, because he was being like a really good friend to her. So her and Kelly, like, they auditioned for this play. She low-key gets jealous of Kelly because she was receiving, more attention from the director and stuff. So then Kelly ends up, like, just dropping out of the play out of respect for Brenda, because they fall out and then they talk about it. And then Brenda ends up like getting the lead role. So then there's an episode where a rumor is going around that she slept with the the director to get the part. The person who started it was this girl. I think her name was like Laura, but that bitch was batshit crazy. And her and Steve were like messing around. So then Steve kind of turned on Brenda briefly until he realized how crazy Laura was, because Laura was like Laura, she pulled a stunt. Like, she went and like she called Brenda's house and told her mom to like leave a message with Brenda that the practice, like the first day of practice, they were supposed to meet at 1, but she told her that it got pushed back to like 4 o'clock so that she would miss the rehearsal so that she could get put out to play. And when basically when she was like, when Brenda showed up or whatever, she ends up basically like, getting help with like, okay, like somebody called my house and left a message or whatever. So then, so that's when the girl was like, well, maybe we should like break her ankles type shit. Like, maybe she shouldn't, maybe if if she's late to another this, then, another rehearsal, then she'll be out of here type shit. So then she had a real dramatic exit. But that girl was crazy. What else? Yeah, so anyways, Brenda does a really good job in the play, and the director was like, well, we have this school in Europe. I can get you in, like an acting school or whatever. I can get you in for the summer, right? This is how I knew that the season 4 was, about to be over. So he's all like, she's like, she accepts or whatever to go to the school in Paris. So then like her last night, or like, before she left, she goes over to Dylan's house again, professes her love for him again, and basically screws him one last time before she goes. And that's the last, well, I ain't gonna say the last we see of her, because I don't know, I'm only on season 5 now. Pretty sure she actually pops up in the reboot, the 2008 reboot. She's in there for like a few episodes or whatever. But like, what's a trip is they were actually, the Shannon Doherty, the lady that plays Brenda, yeah, she had a bad rep by this time. I think she got fired from the show. Either she got fired or she quit. One of the two. But either way, like, these new characters they're introducing, I don't know if they trying to keep this blonde and brunette, like, contrast thing going on. But it's it's something up with that. I'm looking at, because like the girl that Dylan is messing with plays Kelly Kapowski on Saved by the Bell. So she's like a dark-haired chick. And then the other girl I mentioned earlier, Claire, she's a dark-haired chick. It's just, I don't know. It's no in between. It's like no redheads. You either blonde or you're brunette. Actually, Zuckerman, her hair is darker, but she's like Jewish, so that makes sense. But still, like, I don't know. Now I'm just ranting. That's going to conclude this video. I feel like I went long enough. Tune in for the next one. Peace out.